Okay, so we're gonna talk about things that, as a kid, we thought made you rich or made others rich. I don't know how
Made
to
others
word that.
rich.
So for me, my number one was stairs. If somebody had stairs in their house, or yeah, just 2 stories, that meant that they were rich.
I can see that.
Which now his family is rich.
They are. They have stairs. I didn't grow up
They're
that way
not
though.
rich. Um,
I was like 18 before we got stairs.
yeah, but when we got married, they had a big house. And so the first time when we were dating, my friend's family brought me to Texas, and he was all making a big deal about like getting closer, and I didn't know where we were going or which house it was going to be. So when they pulled up, it was this huge cabin thing, and to me it was massive, and I was like, oh, they're rich. And so that's when I was like, you know what, we're going to have to get married.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it happened.
No.
Little did she know.
Things that we thought made people rich as kids. Okay, so stairs was one.
Cars.
Cars.
Newer cars, newer vehicles, because we always had used vehicles, it seemed like. I remember buying one new vehicle. It was a Jeep Cherokee. And it got wrecked. But it was new for a while.
Vehicles aren't something I really remember from my childhood. I remember one blue car, and I think we wrecked it. Maybe that was the one. I wasn't old enough to drive, so it was not me that time. But maybe that was actually the one we got after the wreck. I cannot remember. I don't remember cars. I remember that one being new. I don't know if it was newer.
We always had
And not
cars,
feeling fancy.
just none of them were new.
Yeah. I don't remember cars, but I do remember thinking that if people had multiple cars, that meant they were rich. Because, I mean,
Yeah. We always had multiple cars. We had 2 or 3. We always had a family car and then a work car. It's like what we have now. We have a family car, and then we have the less reliable thing that we sometimes drive around. That's pretty much the same. And we always had a semi, but
okay.
We always had a semi.
That's probably a rich thing.
Well, that was the work, so it's kind of a necessity.
As a kid, I would have been like, "Oh, they have a big truck," you know. Swing sets, playgrounds like that people had built. Those ones.
Yeah, the big fancy ones. Yeah.
They didn't even have to be that fancy.
Actually. No, they just had to be real.
My uncle built one for my cousins, and it was I don't know, 10 feet in the air. It may have been taller than that. And he built like a platform on top of it, and it was just a platform. There was no like, it didn't look like a ship. It didn't look like anything. And he built it, and I thought they were rich, which they also had stairs. So most of my childhood, I spent believing that they were rich, despite them always saying how not rich they were. Yeah. And it wasn't until I was an adult that I believed them that they were not in fact rich.
Because you can make enough money, but then you still owe things like you owe the house, you owe the car, you owe the land, you owe the boat, whatever it is.
Kid, you don't know that.
Right? All you see is the nice fancy things, not the fact that they're still, every week they're still broke like everybody else is.
As adults, we see that now.
Yes.
But as kids, they were rich. Phones. When the phones started coming out, people who had the phones.
See, we always had a phone, but Dad drove a truck. Local, and so it was
the cell phone type.
That's what I'm talking about. Like
always have one.
As soon as cell phone came out, Dad always had a cell phone. Like as soon as the cell phone came out, he had one, because we drove the truck, do the commercial work and whatever local.
While you were a child.
Yeah, so it feels like he always had one. I remember the old box ones.
We're dating him.
Yes.
And me.
Yes, I'm dated.
You can tell that.
We've dated.
Here. We've dated. We did date a couple of times.
It's twice. We're not talking about that. We're talking about things that make you rich.
Anyways, games.
Yes. So we always had our video games were always like way behind, way out of date. So it'd be like 3-4 years after a system would come out that we got one. PC Master Race.
Don't look at me.
Swimming pools.
Especially if it was in ground.
If it was in ground,
but
oh man.
If it was above ground, I still thought they were rich to have a swimming pool.
Apparently, Haley still thinks that. There, she's not wrong about the in ground. Above ground, I thought they were rich, and then we ended up getting one, and I realized since we got ours through a lot of like finagling, we didn't steal it or anything, but we got it through, you know, I keep wanting to say bribes, and that's not right either. It's wheeling and dealing. Like, hey, I've got a trades. There you go. A bartering. That's what I'm looking for. Bartering. I've got a swimming pool frame. You can have it. Here's what I want in return. Blah, blah, blah. That's what we did. Ended up spending hours leveling the thing out and then filling it up. And then it was just as much pain in the neck to keep clean and blah, blah, blah. I don't like them. There's a lake right down the road we can swim in.
We do have one now, and we do love it. It's a small one. It's not like what they had growing up, but we do love it. But that's not the whole point. Was that as kids we thought that having either one in ground or above ground made you rich.
Yep. Are we done now?
Are you ready to go play your game?
I'm ready to eat some of that pizza over there.
Around porches.
Wrap around concrete porches. They don't even have to be wood.
My uncle had a wood one. I thought they were rich. So, you know, my uncle really set the standards.
We had a wrap
around
wood one.
Did you?
It come with the house when Dad bought it.
You were rich though.
No.
They weren't rich. Yeah.
You definitely married up.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just end it there then.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.